Hi friends, this is Angie with an update for the last 2 months, June and July, because I didn't do my usual monthly update. And to be honest, every subject that I'm going to hit on is worthy of a video in itself. So again, I'm going to give you an outline and then hope and pray to come back and give it the attention it deserves. So this is Angie, Angela Power Disney on Facebook, except that profile's banned right now, but we'll come to that later. And Angie Power Disney, my backup profile, and the same on YouTube. Angela Power Disney is my main YouTube channel, and Angie Power Disney is my backup one. And I guess the most consistent place to follow me is my blog, angelascaches.org. No apostrophe, and Caches is spelled C-A-C-H-E-S. So I'll just, the first thing I'm going to address is HAMPSTEAD, even though I stepped down and retired from the case after 3 years of very hard work and very brutal persecution and character assassination and all the rest of it for doing so. But it's I belong to a support group, and I have a 2-hour support group meeting every week, and I'd shared about the HAMPSTEAD case and my agonizing over whether to step down or keep going and so on. And one of the things I'd asked them to pray for, it's a Jesus believing group. I don't like even to use the word Christian sometimes because organized religion has dishonored following Jesus so much. But anyway, I'd asked them to pray, A, that the children be found, and B, that they be rescued, whatever that might look like. And so having laid it down, they were found. And the information was sent to me. And I really appreciate that. And I blogged about it regarding slime. So there are people still coming to the HAMPSTEAD case to take a look and see what happened. Not least amongst them, Lewis Arthur from the Tucson, Arizona operation that's going on with veterans and sinners saved by grace because they think, I believe, they stumbled across a child sex camp in the desert not far from the border and it was covered up. So I was encouraged to hear Lewis say at the end of his broadcast today that he would take a look at the HAMPSTEAD case. So I do get frustrated when I hear people, I guess, new to the case, quoting details inaccurately or being suckered in by the trolls. Trolls is too kind a word to use for them, really. They're most of them government-paid operatives, Satanists, paedophile protectors, lost souls. So I would love to make a kind of refresh HAMPSTEAD, the ABCs, but the largest part of the news over the past 2 months was that they were found. And it's been wrongly, I think, reported as an advertising campaign by eBay, where the people that apparently won prizes for best new UK entrepreneur and runners-up were flown to America on a free holiday and made a video advertising eBay after that. And some are saying that that was just an advertisement. It wasn't genuine winners. I'm inclined to think it was. And allegedly, Ricky Dearman and the children, going under the name Gab Williams, giving the children their fake names too, were given a free holiday to America and came runners-up. And Ricky Dearman chose to put his children back in the spotlight. And that was acknowledged the day after I blogged about it, because the infamous trolling site HAMPSTEAD Research confirmed that it was indeed Ricky and the children, and that many of them had had misgivings about whether he should go public, and tried to advise him of that, and so on and so forth. So it's fully acknowledged. The other time it was thought the children were spotted was in a Super Bowl ad a couple of years ago, and at first the mother and the grandmother said, yes, that's definitely the children. But they later backtracked on that and said, no, it wasn't. So it may not be that it's acting gigs, advertising gigs. And to me, the children still, shoot me down if you want, but to me, the children still look traumatized and mind controlled. I've got a lot more details than I shared on that, including the fact that their father, Ricky Dearman, was trotting them out to shopping malls most weekends in and around the Brighton area, supposedly selling slime. And this was supposedly why they got an award, runners-up award, for 2017 eBay Entrepreneurs of the Year. They also are selling on Etsy, Snapchat, on multiple platforms. I've listed them in the blog, and there's probably more. But digesting, and just to clarify, when I asked the anonymous IT experts that have given me a little bit of help, asked them to check if there were any back doors on this distribution network, clearly I was not referring to back doors to the children's home, weekend home at least, in and around Brighton. I was talking back doors online, where things other than slime were being sold, or what, on this very sophisticated international multi-marketing network. Anybody who's followed the case since it really went public in February 2015 will know, especially from the brilliant research logged on HAMPSTEAD Research, that backdoors were indeed found to many IP addresses associated with the father and connected to pornography, child pornography distribution. So that was my inference to please check for backdoors on this distribution network. The father had boasted under his pseudonym of selling to 15 countries and having done 70 parties for vulnerable and or disabled children, which, again, given the history, is very disturbing. My understanding is that the children are not in his full-time custody, but that, as intimated in the past, he has unhindered access to them for weekends and holidays from social services. And, that includes apparently going to Brighton and helping Daddy multi-market sell all over the world, and going off to parties and shopping centres to help Daddy market it. I think the social worker in charge of the children's well-being absolutely needs pulling on the carpet for this. Given what these children disclosed in 2014 and was viewed worldwide by millions, I think 80 million, possibly more, it's the height of hypocrisy. The father that has had a big hand in jailing some of the campaigners and whistleblowers that tried to get these children's testimonies properly investigated, you know, the American citizen journalist Rupert was jailed for almost 5 months and kept without a passport and without the ability to work in the UK for a year. Sabine McNeill is still on remand. 74-year-old disabled campaigner has been on remand, I think, since February in HMP Bronzefield in the UK for a trial that's not even due to happen until November. Jake was sectioned. Jake Clark, Arthur was sectioned. Multiple others were arrested and cautioned and silenced. Nilu Berry, another activist that helped in the attempt to expose the truth, has just had her house repossessed despite paying off $150,000 on a £65,000 mortgage, as well as cars illegally taken and so on. So it's been a nightmare. But the height of hypocrisy for Ricky Dearman to parade his vulnerable and globally known, internationally known children on the internet for an eBay ad and a free holiday, and trot them off to a shopping mall every weekend. And at first I just thought, well, that's just idiotic narcissism. That's ego gone out of control. That's selling the children for a free holiday. That's exploitation, you know, et cetera, et cetera. But I can't quite believe that eBay wouldn't have done due diligence on people that they were going to feature as their competition winners and in their promotional video for submissions for Entrepreneur of the Year for 2018. I cannot believe, you know, if it is the case that eBay did not do their due diligence and find out who this man was, with the only children at the awards. There were no other people that brought their children and put them on camera. So the only children at these eBay awards with the free holiday to America, looking like deer in headlights, was Ricky Dearman. So I'm just curious to know, have eBay corrected? You know, I know they shut off comments on their YouTube channel or wherever this promotional video featured. But I'm curious to know, have they done their due diligence? Have people contacted social services to say, what were you thinking sanctioning this holiday? What were you thinking sanctioning this weekend activity? I don't believe those children will ever regret going on camera in the initial disclosures. I think their retraction disclosures were brutal, torturous to watch, and equally I would categorize this parading of them for an eBay promo as equally contemptible. So I will endeavour to make a video, ABCs of Hampstead, because I'm still seeing videos I haven't seen, and I probably one of the most foremost researchers over the past 3 years. And I just honour God, because I literally had laid the case down as being, you know, I'd almost given up, God forgive me for saying it, but I had after 3.5 years with no breakthrough, really. So I just honour God for answering prayer that they've been found. And I pray that the second part of that prayer would also be honoured, that they would be rescued. And I don't know what that would look like, but I certainly know it won't look like what we just saw on eBay. The next, now I need my phone for this. The next subject I want to address, what have I done with my phone? I'm looking like a dumb blonde here. Gosh, well, I can do a good bit of it from memory, although I shouldn't. So let me pause this. In fact, it might be a good idea for me to do each segment separately, because not a lot of people have the tolerance for a 2-hour update, which even in itself doesn't go in depth enough. So perhaps I'll just because I haven't got my phone here and I need it to address the next subject is to do with Heather Brown and her son Biniam, which is a similar situation to Eugene Bianenko's case with his son. But we've had a breakthrough there, and we need some information putting out and some support coming in. So just to say that the variable, the thing, I do what I do and I get flack for it and I get persecuted and called all sorts of horrible names. You know, I feel like I go in the boxing ring every time I put a broadcast out. I feel kind of battered for the next couple of days. But the variable which is precious is the feedback. So when somebody gets in touch with myself or somebody else and dots join and evidence is forthcoming, that's what encourages me. Because as I say, I had laid down the Hampstead case, and a very, very good researcher, you know, contacted me and said, look what I found. Will you put it out there? So I thank everybody that listens here, and please subscribe to my channel so that I can get it up at least to 1,000. I'm sure it's hugely shadow banned before that term was even known and suppressed, but please help me get the channel at least over the 1,000 subscribers mark. And I'll make several sections of this June-July update. So that's the Hampstead section for now. And I hope and pray to do an ABCs of Hampstead with hindsight for people that are newly looking at the case, as in the Lewis Arthur and the patrons over there in Arizona. Thanks.